Hi guys, Lindsay here. So today is the day, the big day, the day that I've been dreading and anxious and scared about, but also excited about, which is da 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 da. Our other house is listed. It is on the market. The last several days, I've not been working here at the new house simply because I've been busy trying to get everything in order, organized, decluttered, deep cleaned, and all of that. Just tons and tons and tons of work getting done there, which made it so it was kind of weird coming here today, because it was like a sense of weird like homesickness for the other house because of spending so much time recently with the dogs and the cats, and just being where it's warmer and comfortable and finished and in your own energy so much in your own space instead of somebody else's and stuff, which this place obviously it does feel like home. That's why we're moving here and stuff. Like it feels like home, but it also is very much still a work site. So today's project, because we have to bring the dogs here this weekend, is working on getting the floors painted. So I have everything prepped already. I've already swept. Tracy pulled up some tack strips for me yesterday. We were only here for a very, very short time. But so some tack strips got pulled up. Some of the massive amounts of staples that are in the living room, that room has the most amount of staples in it. She figured out a way to get it all up really good and easy. I've been having a tremendous time with tendonitis in my right forearm, and I am right-handed. So a lot of fine things, like fine motor skills, are extremely difficult for me right now. Like when we were filling out all of the paperwork for listing the house, I was struggling just to initial my name. So it's kind of sucky when this happens, but I can't control it. So yeah, she's on staple removing duty for the foreseeable future. So I'm just actually going to paint beside all the staples when I get into the living room. So everything is moving around. Everything is moving along nicely. We don't have running water here yet, which is kind of a good thing because today the real feel is 1 degree Fahrenheit. So it's extremely, extremely cold outside. And this is the first time that we've been testing out the geothermal heater furnace thing to see how it does, what it can do. So it was really interesting to discover that we actually did still have heat whenever I got here this morning. I wasn't sure if it was something that we'd have to, when I asked the furnace guy, I gotta put you guys down, my shoulder is so sore. My body is taking a beating from, gotta really readjust. I'm sure a lot of you want to stare at my chest, but sorry, not getting that opportunity. So when the furnace guy was here, I had asked him about the geothermal system, if it was going to be one of those things where once it got down to a certain temperature, since it is essentially a heat cool pump, if we would not have heat after a while. And he said that the previous owner, his name was Don. You guys will hear me refer to Don a million times over because I keep thanking Don for doing so many different things and basically just showing the way and stuff. But so the previous owner, Don, he had actually splurged to have a higher quality, more expensive furnace put in. So it's not just a heat cool pump that has the geothermal piping under the ground. It is actually one that has an alternate electric furnace that also is in there with it. So when the temperature drops too low for the geothermal to work, it automatically will switch over to the electric furnace thing. So we weren't sure if that was something that, if it was automatic or if we'd have to push a button or if we'd have to do something for it. But when I came here today, it was still 55 degrees in the house, which is what I have the thermostat set up. So I was like, oh, thank God there's heat today. I'm like, this would be a really bad day to paint without any heat. But so yeah, this next week, a lot of the highs are actually in the teens. So it's going to be extremely cold. So our contractor this weekend is probably going to work on getting the wood stove finished installed here. So then that way, when we are going to be here, when it is super duper duper cold because we have holes in walls and windows that are bad and all sorts of stuff, then this way we can then, I have so much stuff on my glasses from sweeping in here. I keep thinking that I'm blurry, but I think it's just my glasses. If it's on you guys' end, I'm sorry. But so, shoot, I forgot what I was saying. It's gone. So yeah, welcome to Lindsay's world. So I'm gonna actually cut this off here so that way I can work on getting the floor painted because we have to be able to bring all the dogs here. We have to make sure that everything is good and safe to go. And now that the house is listed, we're actively working on just hauling more stuff here. So I've been hauling stuff here this whole time, just throwing whatever I could grab into the SUV, but now it's a lot more intentional. Like pretty much all of our canning supplies, minus our jars, are here, like our pressure canner, water bath canner, stock pots, things of that nature, things that we know for certain we are not going to need at the new house. So now it's basically, I'm getting stuff out of the basement now, because out in the rest of the house, the whole main part of the house, besides like our clothing and stuff like that, it's pretty well empty. Like it's there's just like a few totes of random things that, you know, probably tomorrow I'm bringing here. So it's kind of one of those things of like, we don't really have that much stuff left at the other house to bring here. So it's kind of one of those things of, I need to get the floor painted, so then that way the couch can get moved, the chair can get moved, different stuff can get moved to where it belongs at, so then it can just sit there until it's time for us to get regular flooring put in here. So it's just one of those things of just constantly taking little baby steps, getting us closer and closer and closer and closer to the move-in date. So really nervous about showing the house this weekend, really nervous about having a bunch of strangers walking through the house critiquing every choice that we've ever made, pretty much. You know, when you renovate an entire house from top to bottom yourself as a, you know, novice house renovator person, it's pretty nerve-wracking to know that there's going to be people there walking through, looking critically at every single thing that you've done, every choice that you've made. It just feels like I'm getting graded. But so, you know, fingers crossed, say a little prayer that it sells for more than we have it listed for, because that would be awesome. Pretty much everything that we're going to be fine. But the more we can get, the nicer of things we can do faster. Like Tracy needs to get a different vehicle for moving out here, because there's no way that her little car, without having 4-wheel drive, will be able to handle being on these roads in the wintertime. Because today I actually had to drive in 4-wheel drive the entire way here. And oddly enough, the nicest roads I drove on was our road. I'm like, this is nice. The worst road I drove on was our road at the other house. So it's kind of funny, like going from this to this. So it's kind of nice, but yeah. So I got to get busy. I've got to get painting and get some stuff done. So then that way it can all dry before I have to leave, because I'm going to start in front of the front door. So then that way, hopefully I can get back out of the front door. If not, I'll have to traipse around in the snow and go all the way around, and big bunch of hoopla. But, you know, it is what it is. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.